National Anthem.
Heavenly Father, as we pause now, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for the many blessings of it, for the safety of it. But we thank you now again for this beautiful evening that you've given us, that we might come together to enjoy a night of racing. We ask that you be with each driver, each crew member, official, fan, each one involved, that it might truly be a safe night of racing. We thank you again for the ones that work so hard to make this track the success that it is. But most of all, we thank you for your love for us that you did give of your Son to die for our sins, that we might have everlasting life. We thank you again for the many blessings of life. Ask that you continue to be with us, guide us, and direct us. For it's in your name we pray.
Very simple, Marty. Are you ready to go racing?
You bet. Let's go racing.
Grandstand, are you ready to go racing? Steve Shive out of St. Peter's in the Budweiser number 51 car. John O'Neill from down in Nixon, Missouri in that O'Neill sheet metal Camaro, the number 26 car. Tim Swearingen in that Don's Mobile Home sponsored number 14 Lumina. Walnut Grove, Missouri, Jerry Kelly in the U.S. Automotive 04 car. Bradley Roy Chisholm in that Ebenezer's number 57 car out of Republic. And back with us in the McCann Printing number 35 car out of Springfield, that is Steve Holt. This is very important. Double features for the Grand American Late Model. This will qualify them for the first feature. We will calculate the points after feature number 1, invert top 12, with the winner going to the rear as they'll get bunched up. And Bob, September the 3rd, Johnson Service Center 11 is presenting the Ortco Challenge Series.
100 times around the high banks of the I-44 Speedway. The independent weekend running as the Hoosier Racing Slick starting to get scuffed in. On the track right now, the first qualifier of experience and some younger drivers, and great to have Steve Shine back in the Budweiser car 51.
Former I-44 late model champion Jamie McMurray in his own number 2X machine, and it'll be Swearingen and O'Neill. Jerry Kelly, who's had some great runs in that 04 car, Roy Chisholm and Steve Holmes as the lineup is good. This will be a 10-lap qualifier. The top 6 to go on the inversion toward the average. And Steve Shive back with us off the American Speed Association. Young Jamie McMurray, he knows victory lane in the modified. Here they come. Keep moving on the flag stand, and we're going to go. And the veteran Steve Shive takes the only control. But here comes that 18-year-old out of Joplin, Jamie McMurray. And now Chisholm all the way from the back. Rapid Roy Chisholm took it up strong in that Chevrolet Lumina as they complete lap number 1. The battle now for 4th and 5th between John O'Neill and Tim Swearingen. Dropping it down by the wall side into turn 3. Watch Roy Chisholm as he's got that Ebenezer's car on the charge, but it's the Budweiser team of the battle now for 2nd. It's the veteran Roy Chisholm against the 18-year-old McMurray. Dropping it down the backstretch. Chisholm now to set him up in the corner. Side pulled away by 3 car lengths. Meanwhile, McMurray and Chisholm on the charge. Ross Swearingen and O'Neill. To go. Rapid Roy Chisholm once again tries to make the move on Joe McMurray. And now Steve Holm back with us. Brand new sheet metal on that 35 car. Makes his charge to the front. McMurray to shut the door. And now John O'Neill moves up the 4th as the battle goes on between O'Neill, Swearingen, and Holm. Chisholm right on that back deck there of Jamie McMurray has got and it's Steve Shive in full control. Here comes Chisholm down the backstretch. Chisholm down low. McMurray on the high side. Wheel to wheel. And Chisholm gets it sideways. And a tough break for Rapid Roy Chisholm. You can see the rain has washed some of the rubber off of the track on that low groove down there in between 3 and 4. As our lineup looks good right now, it'll be Shive out in front. McMurray running at 2nd. O'Neill is now running 3rd. Swearingen and Holm jockeying back and forth. Back and forth for a little bit of position.
And Ronnie, you talk about Roy Chisholm and that Ebenezer's and Ball Timber sponsored car 57. Got a brand new power plant under this. Is either 2nd or 3rd week in that car with a brand new power plant in it. And had an awful lot of pull down the straightaways. Just seemed to have some problems coming off the corners, but he was able to dive inside of McMurray in car number 2, but not completely make the pass. But a lot more power for the driver out of Republic.
And Jerry Kelly with some problems in that 04 car out of Walnut Grove. And Jerry, who's had some excellent runs, and guys, going to need the push truck down here on the front stretch. Up. There we go. Jerry got that 04 car fired back up. 5 down, 5 to go in our first late model qualifying heat race of the evening. And Shive looking very, very strong. McMurray will be right on his bumper. O'Neill and Swearingen, along with Holt, a great battle going on for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And looks like Jerry Kelly's going to be out of the action as he takes that Chevrolet Lumina on the high side of turn number 3. And Bob, that's never a good sign when you get up that high in the banking.
And just a couple of weeks back, Jerry Kelly in the 04 machine had a real strong run and finished 3rd in a Grand American Late Model Features. The Kelly Racing team has slowly started to get things dialed in this year. But right now, McMurray, the youngster, glued right to the rear bumper of a driver who tasted a track championship at the I-44 already.
Normally you see the Super Stoppers start tonight's show. But with the double features tonight, we're going to put the late models out for their heat races first, then the Super Stoppers, then the Modifieds will come out for their qualifiers, then we're going to run our first late model features, then the Bob Squad will come out for their heat races, then it'll be a very, very short intermission. So in between on yellow flags, if you get a chance to get an ice cold Coke, make heads up back there to the concession stand. Lights go off. Now SGI breaks through quickly. McMurray run on his bumper, and Mr. Foreman says, let's go. Shive still in control. Now watch John O'Neill. O'Neill in that number 3 spot now, trying to run down the 18-year-old Al Joplin, who turned 3 now. Steve Shive glued to that low side as they come roaring down the front straightaway. Steve Holden, Tim Square just put at it for the number 4 spot. 6 down, only 4 remain. And it's all the veteran out of St. Peters, Missouri, Steve Shive. McMurray hangs on a second. Now Holden's on the move. Steve Holden working his way up to the number 3 spot. Shive leads now. As Holt loops it down the back stretch over turn number 2. And that'll bring out yet another yellow flag.
Tough break, Ronnie, for chauffeurs taking a couple of weeks off of the McCann printing car 35. Steve Holt looks at coming off of turn 2. And Ronnie, it looked like Steve Shive, who was leading the heat race, may have lost a pin holding down the hood as that started to fly up a bit coming off of turn number 1.
Steve will be wiggling that Lincoln Steel, the pipe supplier sponsor, number 51 car, back and forth to make sure that fiberglass hood doesn't come up high. We talked about the rain. I watched the guys when they were helping us to dry the track off. The rubber has virtually been washed all off the speedway because of the heavy rains that we had earlier this morning and in the noontime hours. As we get ready to resume racing action, it's going to be a little trick decision for the late model cars. 7 down, 3 to go. Shive brings them in nice and easy. McMurray looking for running room. Here they come, and we're back to racing action. Rocket to that field. Here goes McMurray on the inside. Shive just the door. And Chisholm now up to the number 4 spot. McMurray down low. Shive high. O'Neill in that Camaro. Right with it. And Shive. 8 down, 2 to go. McMurray looks low. Shive in that preferred middle groove. The white flag will be coming out. This time around for Steve Shive at 51. Him and McMurray with only 1. Battling it out for 3rd and 4th. Shive, a little bobble on the 2. Rockets that Chevrolet Lumen into turn number 3. McMurray hangs it on the high groove. There as they roar down the front stretch. Here comes the Chevrolet. McMurray second. This kitty, Bud Dickinson will roll about in car number 21. James Kelly Jr. of Walnut Grove in that number 30 machine. The Richmond Bullet, Bob Webster in 25. 9th in the region. Brian Daniel in car number 52. 7th in the region, Paul Wall in the Lockwood in that number 13 Oldsmobile. Driving the number 11 car here this evening. The backup car to the Speedway champion, Larry Phillips, is Archie Griffin. And starting dead last, he is your Pacific regional leader in car number 75, Larry Phillips. Kelly and Son, Daniel and Webster, Wallen and Griffin. Phillips starts back in the shotgun spot. And Archie Griffin, the reason he's in the backup car here this evening, when they were getting the car ready, they found a little bit of mechanical problems in that number 11 car. They said it wasn't quite up to snuff. Therefore, he made a call to Larry's shop. Larry said, "You're 4th in the region. Go ahead. Use what I call the number 2 tire." There he comes. He's back on the speedway now. We'll get them settled down into their starting grid spots. And sounds like Webster, maybe a little carburation problem in that Osborne Porterwell Lumina. And he's going to wind her back into the pit area. And we'll now be bunching them up. It'll be Kelly and Dickinson, Daniel and Griffin, Wallen and Phillips. James Kelly Jr. from Walnut Grove, some very strong top 5 runs in that A.D. McCowan truck and number 30 car is outside in that Ford Thunderbird. From down in Lebanon, Missouri and Leclerc County is Bud Dickinson. Row 2, a couple of drivers trying to get a trip to Nashville. Once again, we're going to let them heat the tires up on this very cool track. row 2. Wallen and Phillips in your third row. This will be a 10-lap qualifier. The first super stock qualifying heat race is in the staging area. He'll be ready to go here next as they get doubled up. Keith will be shutting the lights off this time around. James Kelly Jr. is veteran out of Walnut Grove, Missouri. His first year in the Grand American Late Model Division in that number 30 car here this year. Lebanon Spud Dickinson last weekend. Spud was 10th in the region. He is now out of the top 10 as mechanical problems sideline him also. Here they come. Kelly to set a quick pace and the green is out. Kelly down low, Dickinson high. Daniel and Griffin wheel to wheel. Rocketed down by the wall side. Phillips now trying to make his move. Phillips goes to the inside of young Brian Daniel. Meanwhile, Kelly and Dickinson rocketed to the front with on that preferred lower line. That's Dickinson in control. Now watch the battle for the second, third, and fourth. It's Kelly, Phillips, and Daniel going at it hard for that runner-up front of the money. But leading lap number 2, Dickinson. Phillips now rocking from fourth up to second as he puts the move on James Kelly Jr. And there goes Brian Daniel along with him. Dickinson now has the Pacific Coast Regional leader right on his bumper, and Brian Daniel now. Larry to the left side. Spud lets him have that long room. 3 down, 7 to go. And there goes Daniel, and Dickinson is now off the pace. Dickinson heads to the pit area. He's out of the action. While Larry goes 75. Daniel right there with him. Now, Brian Daniel, who had a strong run here last Friday night, trying to hold off the challengers of Archie Griffin for the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Wallen and Griffin continue to fight it out. 5 down, 5 to go. It's all the sportsman pickup covers Lebanon. Glory Phillips in control. Daniel holds on to that number 2 spot. Griffin now third, Wallen right there in fourth. Rocketing down the front straightaway once again. Archie Griffin continue their battle for that runner-up position. Daniel holds that middle line. Griffin uses the high to low line. Well, now Wallen's Oldsmobile continues to go in the middle. And James Kelly Jr. The battle for the number 2 position. Brian Daniel, Archie Griffin, and Paul Wallen. Nose to tail and bumper to bumper as they come roaring down the front straightaway. Lap number 8, Phillips in command. But watch the race for second place. Daniel, Griffin goes inside. Brian shuts the door. The white flag will be coming out this time around for the number 75 car, Glory Phillips, with only one more lap to go. Daniel, Griffin, and Wallen, a nose-to-tail battle for the number 2 spot. Phillips tries different lines of racing. Going into turn number 3 now. He puts that lower to the low side of 4. Here comes the checkered flag out for Glory Phillips. Daniel second, Griffin. And now the Superstock first qualifier is going to be rolling out. Jeff Smith in car number 33, Larry Smith of Brookline Station in 55. Teddy Thomas in 75, Andy Jenkins of Springfield back with us in car number 59. Tim McCowan in the 12 car, Tim Stark in 52, Herb Pickard in car 28. Danny Meyer of Buffalo is back with us in car number 21, and Wayne Johnson will be driving the 0 car this evening. Brand new car, Wayne Johnson back with us from down in Millis, Missouri. He will be starting shotgun in this first qualifier for our Super Stock division. And it's going to be young Jeff Smith out of Springfield, Missouri to set the pace for the race. The veteran Larry Smith is outside. Then we'll find Teddy Thomas and Andy Jenkins as Keith will tell them to weave it back once. Remember, no points awarded in the heat races, only in the feature. That's where the money's at. And Bob thinks the money half off for the ladies tomorrow night at Lebanon.
$3.50 off on the wild side, Ronnie, and half price on the grandstand side. Late model stocks in the middle of a heated points battle are running extra laps for extra cash, and it looks like Keith Foreman will say this time around.
Here we go. Smith and Smith, Thomas and Jenkins, McCowan and Stark. Pickard and Danny Meyer recovering from that hand surgery he had earlier this year after being involved in a hard wreck. Wayne Johnson to start shotgun. Jeff Smith will bring them in nice and easy in that number 33 car as they'll start to bunch up into turn number 3. Lucky Smith, the veteran, to his outside. Here they come, and green drop, but I don't believe we're going to get a start. Mr. Foreman not liking that start this time, and we're going to get them bunched up once more. We'll get Jenkins up there on that second row outside. Stark will Frank McCowan in the third row. Pickard along, Danny Meyer, Wayne Johnson to start shotgun. Keith will give him the signal. Gentlemen, I want you nose to tail, bumper to bumper, and door handle to door handle, as the fast dash heat for the super stocks will be rolling out here next. Then the Grand American Modifieds will roll out with their 2 qualifiers. Then our first late model 25 lapper will be underway. Nice and easy. It'll be Jeffrey Smith in 33. Larry Smith, the veteran, on his outside. The lights go off around the Friday night action track. Here they come, and he says, let's go racing. Tim McCowan, who's had a rough 3 weeks, who is third in the track point standings now. Keep your eyes on the Buffalo, Missouri chauffeur. But Jeff Smith heads the back. Teddy Thomas right there on the outside. Now the battle, wheel to wheel for the number 1 spot. Off of turn number 4. Teddy Thomas out of Springfield to go into the front. And here comes McCowan. Now Herb Pickard attempts on 3 wide into turn number 1. As they complete that first lap, Thomas in control. Here comes McCowan on the move on the outside. And Herb Pickard in that number 628 Ford is on the charge from the rear of the pack. Coming down for lap number 2. Teddy Thomas holding on. As McCowan now uses the outside lane. McCowan up high. Thomas to the low side. Rocketing on turn number 2. Kim McCowan of Buffalo control. And now Pickard is on the move. One battle back there for the number 4 spot. 5 and 6. As Tim Stark, Larry Smith, Danny Meyer, Andy Jenkins, all trying to qualify in the first 6 rows. 2 down, 6 to go. It's all McCowan. Pickard all by himself in second. And now Thomas in the number 3 spot. Thomas, Stark, Smith, Meyer, and Jenkins continue their battle back to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Only one of those cars will not qualify in your first 12. It's all McCowan and Pickard. And now Thomas and Stark continue their battle. Larry Smith, and here comes Buffalo, Danny Meyer. The battle now 3 wide into turn number 3. Thomas holds on to 3rd. Jenkins looks for running room as does Smith and Stark. Meyer right in the thick of things. 5 down, 3 to go. As they now start to sort it out. Meyer and Thomas, Stark, all involved as they pinch Tim Stark going by the wild side.
Well, up close and personal on the wild side. Stark has 52 fired up. Meyer will separate 21. Teddy Thomas has 75 separated as well. So all 3 cars involved in that spin right smack dab in the middle of the backstretch. Gotten underway. Now Meyer stalled that 21 machine. We'll see if he can't get that fired up. Fast car qualifier for the super stocks in the staging area. Then the 2 modified heats. And then feature number 1 for the Pacific Coast Region Cars and Stars, the Grand American late models. We will then have the first of 2 qualifying heat races for the bomb squad, then the second, take a very brief intermission break, and come back with the second half of the program. So 5 laps down on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. As the debris is taken care of down the backstretch. I believe that's Richard Putty on hand with us in the quick dry machine this evening. Artco Cars and Stars headed to the I-44 Speedway over the Labor Day weekend. You want to make your plans to be there bright and early. We'll also have a couple of support classes that will be on hand with us that night as well. Danny Meyer has that 21 machine fired up, and he's headed to the rear of the field. prize for the ladies at the I-44 Speedway. Next week, the Bomb Squad and the Super Stocks will be running extra laps for extra cash here at the Friday night action track. Looks like all the debris has been taken care of down the backstretch with 5 laps down on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. From your 12 machine of Kim McCowan, first Herb Spickard, second Andy Jenkins in the number 3 position in car 59. Ronnie, I tell you what, for a wild ride down the backstretch, apparently not a whole lot of damage done in that 3-car incident.
No, Larry Smith come out the worst for wear. As you can see, the front bumper was dragging on the 55 car. And Bob, very important, they were qualifying within the top 6, trying to get within the 12-car inversion. Very simple. We run what we call high and low average heats. They're based on their last 4 appearances or the 4 races they were with us. If they've only been here once, they get an average on that race alone. We line them up on a handicap system, low average, high, cars with no average back of the heat races. Now what they're trying to do is get qualified on their average. Drivers such as Danny Meyer, who's been out for a while, he can start tonight's feature 12, even though he has no average, and he's missed at least 2-point shows back-to-back with us. So it's very important to try to qualify within the top 6 of your qualifying heat races because, Bob, it's no fun, and Danny is going to be sent into the pit area in car 21. No fun to be able to have to start way back there in the back 40. As you look at the Coca-Cola scoreboard, 5 down, 3 to go. McCowan, your pace setter. Spickard running in second. Jenkins is third. Jeffrey Smith running fourth. Thomas is now fifth. Stark running sixth. As Myers will make a quick duck into the pit area. Lights, will they be shutting off this next time around? Keith has that green flag rolled up in his hand. Regular racing show next Friday night here at Speedway USA with the late model stocks back on hand, or what we used to call the sportsman division. Jack Daniel, the defending Speedway champion, your point leader in that class, but it's about a 6-car freight train right behind the Racing Reverend. The lights now go off around the street, mile asphalt oval. And Buffalo, Missouri's Kim McCowan trying to get back on track, as you might want to say. Little nips and bugs have been sidelined in the number 12 car. He is third in the track standing, but he's got Herb Spickard, and before that yellow, Spickard started to close up the gap. Jenkins back with us in car 59, right there in third. Here they come. McCowan brings them through the pace, and the green is out. We're back to race in action. McCowan gets a quick jump now. Teddy Thomas is on the moving car, number 59. Tim Stark and Jeff Smith pulls to the low side in 33, falling off the pace a little bit. It's McCowan, Spickard, Jenkins, Thomas, Stark, and Smith, your top 6 runners. With 6 down, only 2 remain. Spickard now trying to close up that gap while Tim Stark and Teddy Thomas continue that battle back there for the number 4 spot. Rocketed by the wild side. Stark looks inside, but the white flag will be coming out this time around for Kim McCowan. Only 1 more lap to go. Stark to the inside, Thomas to the outside. Both of them racing for position, trying to catch Andy Jenkins. Going by the wild side, Spickard closes up. Doesn't seem to be enough time for the Ford driver. And as that Malibu Chevy comes off turn number 4, the checkered flag out for Kim McCowan. Spickard running in second. Jenkins will come home third. Stark fourth, Thomas fifth, and Smith running sixth. The fast car dash. Jim Case from here in Bolivar will lead him out in car number 91. Robbie Johnson in that double donut machine. Brian Brown in 2. Steve Bias back with us in car 79. Jody Whitener out of Springfield in 18. Fairgrove, Missouri's Glenn Lucas in 26. Tom Klaus in car number 42 out of St. James. There's your point leader out of Springfield, car number 14, Wayne Lewis. And Sergeant Charlie Johnson, last year's Super Stock champion, back out in car number 1. Remember, only Wayne Lewis knows where he's going to start tonight's A feature. That'll be in what you call the scratch position or shotgun. As by winning the feature here last week, he starts dead last. The lights will now go off in this 8-lap qualifier, and Jim Case has been looking real strong the last 3 weeks, picking up a lot of valuable windshield time, while last year's Rookie of the year, Robbie Johnson flexed into the outside. Row 2, 2 years ago, he was the Bomber champion, Steve Bias, and Lebanon's Brian Brown to his outside. Row 3 will be another rookie driver, Glenn Lucas and Jody Whitener to his outside. The 4th row, Klaus and Lois. Johnson starting at the rear. 8-lap dash, here they come. Case the pace, and we're going to go back to race in action. Wheel to wheel, you want to finish in that top 6. Only Lewis doesn't have to worry about it. It's Case taking the early control in that Monte Carlo, but now Robbie Johnson alongside him, door handle to door handle. Wheel to wheel and nose to tail. That race for the spot. Coming down for lap number 1, it's Robbie Johnson going to the front, but here comes Case on the low groove. Meanwhile, Bias and Brown once again, and Johnson now takes command. Case to that number 2 spot. Oh, Jody Whitener smacks the wall of the B95 side, but he now will head to the pit area. It's Johnson in control. Case now running in the number 2 spot. As we stay under green right now. Bias and Brian Brown battling out for 3rd and 4th. Rocking down by the wild side. Lucas running 5th. Now the battle for that bubble spot as the yellow flag will be coming out.
So a couple of laps down officially on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, and Robbie Johnson in that 00 machine, that Mount Vernon Auto Parts sponsor machine, leading the way, Ronnie. 6 laps remaining in the fast car qualifier with the Modifieds in the staging area. The first of their 2 heat races will hit the track next. Following the second, it is our first Grand American late model feature of the evening as the Pacific Coast region cars and stars vie for huge points at the track and within the region are not running 1, but running 2 huge features tonight. Of course, we invite you back next Friday evening to the Friday night action track with the Bomb Squad and the Super Stocks. Extra laps, some extra money as well. Looks like we've got ourselves a pretty good lineup, and Keith Foreman has decided to turn the lights off. 6 laps remaining, Ronnie, in our fast car qualifier.
Watch the battle back there for that bubble spot. Remember, Wayne Lewis doesn't have nothing to worry about. He's starting dead last tonight anyway, as Tom Klaus and Charlie Johnson. Of course, Charlie very, very low on the average. I don't believe he has one, as he didn't get to compete in the feature here, I believe, last Friday night. So he's going to try to get on that 12-row inversion. Here they come. Robbie to set a blistering pace. Case with a man. The green is out. We're back to race in action. Brown and Bias and Lucas will now continue their battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Johnson and Klaus going at it for that number 6 spot. Rocketing by the wild side. It's all Robbie Johnson in control. Case now holds off a thundering herd for that runner-up position. And Johnson and Klaus now with the close man on the bubble. Johnson looks outside. Klaus continues to go inside. Wheel to wheel with 3 down, 5 to go. Johnson in that familiar groove move. Klaus now falls off the inversion. Coming down the front straightaway, Robbie Johnson all by himself, and now charging Charlie Johnson, starting to pick up speed. The defending Speedway USA Superstar champion has charged his way now up to the number 5 spot. He looks to the inside of Brian Brown, rocketed by the wild side. The veteran Adam Miller is quickly moving up the Pontiac Grand Prix, but it's still going to be Robbie Johnson in control. Case now second, Bias third, Johnson fourth, Brown fifth. Lucas is now on the bubble. Glenn Lucas on the bubble in car number 26 as Charlie Johnson continues that thundering herd. He looks to take 3rd place money away from Steve Bias. Well, it's Robbie Johnson still out in front. Jim Case now in that Monte Carlo continues to hold on as Georgia Charlie living up to that nickname is up to 3rd. Meanwhile, Klaus and Lucas continue their battle for that number 6 spot. Will allow Klaus going to the inside. The white flag will be coming out this time around for Robbie Johnson in double donut with only 1 more lap to go. And Johnson, who started dead last in the fast dash heat, takes a move on Jim Case. They go wheel to wheel by the wild side. The battle for the number 2 spot as it's all Robbie Johnson. Hammer down, not lifting a bit, and the battle for 2nd's going to go to Charging Charlie. Case is 3rd, Bias 4th, Klaus 5th, the Grand American Modifieds.
Ruth Cotter, please report to the front gate. Ruth Cotter to the front gate. And leading him out, Joe's Tire Shop sponsored car 22. That's John Corliss. Already owning a couple of feature wins this year out of Buffalo. In car 5, Brian Kapika. Back with us and running strong in car 15. Currently being shown in the top 10 of the track point stand, Mark Underwood. And in car 73, formerly in the bomb squad, now running the open wheel Thunder and Lightning, Russell Graves. And behind the wheel of car 1 this evening, Mike Burris. As Keith Foreman will let the Modifieds heat up those Hoosier Racing slicks a couple of times around the Friday night action track. Tonight's racing competition is the track points leader. John Corliss is second. Mark Underwood, James Kelly Sr., and Terry Taylor round out your top 5. Russell Graves is in the number 6 position here at the Friday night action track. And Keith Foreman will go ahead and turn the lights off this time around in the first of 2 qualifiers for the Ozarks' own Natural Disasters. Side by side and nose to tail 6 times around. It's Corliss and Kapika, Underwood and Graves, and Burris starting shotgun this evening. Fast car qualifier in the staging area, getting ready to hit the track next. As Corliss will set your pace, Kapika to the outside. 6 times around. Keith Foreman, what do you say to the Mighty Modifieds? This time around, will we get a start? No. Whoa, great lookout. Russell Graves almost collected, and Corliss is spinning car 22. Let's see if any damage is done to that 73 machine. Looks like we're going to need some help for Corliss in car 22 as well. Boy, not the way you want to start the first qualifier for the Modifieds, as Corliss is 22 fired up. Everyone got on the brakes in a big hurry, but it looks like Graves may have sustained some damage in car 73. And it looks like we will need the hook to come out and take care of Corliss, who is stopped in turn 2. Can we have a wrecker in turn 2, please? A wrecker in turn 2. Of course, all kinds of folks helping to make the racing competition possible this evening. The Ozark Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper Bottling Company board with us for the 2nd consecutive year as the official soft drink. Ruth Cotter, please come to the front gate, please. Ruth Cotter, please come to the front gate. 2nd straight year, the Ozark Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper Bottling Company is aboard with us as the official soft drink of the Winston Racing Series, as Russell Graves takes her to the high side and heads back to the pits in car 73. For all your banking needs, a couple of convenient locations to talk about, a couple of great financial institutions as well. The Polk County Bank. Walk in the front door, they'll recognize you by name. Whether it's for business or for personal use, the Southwest Bank of Polk County is another fine institution you can talk about. Hardee's of Southwest Missouri is aboard as a corporate sponsor of the Winston Racing Series again this year. Of course, Master Wong's as well. Take that Chinese food with you over to the wild side as you get ready for the races to get underway. McDonald's also aboard with us again this season. And you take that McDonald line ticket stub into McDonald's after the races, you get the large sandwich. They'll give you a free medium soft drink as well. Springfield Engine Supply, home of the Street Pro, is back with us once again. Great to have our friends from Laclede Auto Sales with a couple of convenient locations in Lebanon. You talk about safe buy used cars, you're talking about Laclede Auto Sales. I think they got the big horn with them tonight. Auto Air and Audio is aboard with us once again over on the wild side. Boy, it looks like his night may be a short one as he is on the end of the record. John Corliss will be taken back to the pits in car 22. Got a report of a flat tire in that 22 machine as well. Ronnie, he locked it up in a hurry coming out of turn 1, and everyone did a great job, really, of avoiding that incident, but maybe some damage suffered by Russell Graves in 73.
Flat tires, the same report on Russell Graves' number 73 car. Back there on the left rear, you can hear it squeaking as he come around down the front straightaway. I looked, and slowly it was leaking down and down just a little bit more. Bob, ladies' night tomorrow night at the I-44 Speedway in Lebanon, Missouri. We'll see if Russell and the crew can't get that car back out here for this first qualifier. But tomorrow night, half off for the grandstand admission and $3.50 off over in tier parking.
And all 5 divisions will be running tomorrow evening as well. Gates opening at 5:30. Racing competition starting at 7:30. Extra laps for the late model stocks. Back to the original restart, and attrition is taking a toll here as the lights go off. It's Underwood, Kapika, and Burris. And the first qualifier for the Mighty Modifieds, 6 times around, and let's go racing. One opportunity here for 3 drivers as Kapika out of Buffalo takes the lead, headed down the backstretch for the first time. Underwood ranked 3rd in the track point standings, and Burris getting some valuable windshield time in car 1. 1 lap down on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 5 laps remaining, and Underwood now glued right to the bumper of Kapika. Earlier this year, won once at Bolivar, and the next night won at the I-44 Speedway. As he heads off of turn 4, we'll have 2 laps down this time around. The S&S pallet machine of Brian Kapika trying to hold off Underwood in car 15 and Burris in the number 3 spot. Only about a 3-car length advantage for Kapika as he hits the front straightaway halfway through the first qualifier for the Modifieds. Kapika unable to pull away as Underwood looking to close the gap. Kapika takes the field off of turn 3. We'll have 4 down. 2 laps remaining. It's Kapika 1. Underwood in the number 2 position. Burris rounds out the first qualifier for the fast car. He races the staging area. The white flag coming out this time around for the Modifieds with 1 more laps to go. Can Kapika hold off Underwood as Russell Graves has that tire change to back out in car 73. But the checkered flag will fly this time around for Buffalo's Brian Kapika. Underwood comes home second. Well, attrition took its roll, but the winner of the first heat race is tasted winner circle track. Fast car heat race for the Modifieds. Your attention to the pits, please. Late Model A feature. First late model feature to the staging area, please. Out of the St. Louis area in car number 10. He won a feature a couple of weeks back at the I-44 Speedway. Vinny Throckmorton. Real veteran of the racing game out of Walnut Grove in car 44. James Kelly Sr. But he has been winless in about a month and a half between the I-44 and Speedway USA and that Dirt Works car, number 91, David Bates. Well, let's see, as Keith Foreman left the modified scuffing those Hoosier Racing slicks, still waiting for Terry Taylor in car 66 to make his way out onto the track. If you have an Oldsmobile in the parking lot, license number UXC929. UXC929, if that's your vehicle, your lights are on. And it looks like there may be some problem for Throckmorton in car 10. car normally driven by Lee McGill, but tonight Vinnie Throckmorton will pilot the 10 machine. Well, this could get real interesting. We've got ourselves a good old grudge race on hand with us for the second qualifier for the modified. And now Throckmorton heads back out in car number 10. For a moment there, it looked like we may have that shootout with a KG veteran and James Kelly Sr. in car 44, and a first-year modified driver who has dominated the track point standings from the opening race of the season in David Bates. But after Throckmorton headed to the pits, he will go to the rear of the field, so Kelly Sr. and Bates will start in row 1. And the lights will go off, so evidently some problems for Terry Taylor in car 66 as he has not been able to make it out onto the track. The lights will go off, and maybe not. Need to get car 10 tailback, and then we'll have ourselves a good lineup. Of course, Throckmorton went to the pit, so he does go to the rear of the field. Benny's done some road racing before. In fact, he told me he picked up a win there, and that's why a couple of weeks ago when he won at the I-44 Speedway, he didn't stop in the winner's circle, headed right back to the pit. As the lights go off, Kelly Sr., Bates, and Throckmorton. 6 times around, keep forming to the mighty modified. What do you say we try it again? It appears that the problem is that Keith did not get his Chauncey's ice cream tonight. He does not seem to be in a very hospitable mood. Our first late model feature will hit the track next. Then the bomb squad. Side by side, nose to tail, door handle. Door handle, not quite that close. Door handle to door handle. Kelly Sr., Bates, and Throckmorton, 3 cars, 6 times around. It's a good old-fashioned shootout. What do you say this time around to the modified? Well. Keith is not real happy. Looks like Bruce Hanley may be aggravated, too. He's an archer. You don't want to mess with him. Caution will come on. And David Bates being sent tailback. And the lights will go off, so it'll be James Kelly Sr. and Vinnie Throckmorton who needs to get to his outside in row 1. Bates rounds out the field. They head into turn number 3. Kelly Sr. to set the pace to the modifieds. It's the 3rd time a charm. Let's go racing! And Throckmorton stands on the accelerator. Kelly Sr. to his inside, but here comes Bates. Bates looks inside of Kelly Sr. as they dial turn 3. They're side by side. Throckmorton using that battle to open up a little lead. It's Throckmorton, Bates, and Kelly Sr. with 5 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Late model feature racing is next. The 3-car freight train down the front stretch with 2 laps down. And Bates will now challenge the chauffeur out of the St. Louis area. As Bates tried the inside, but that 91 machine just would not stick. Right to his bumper, Throckmorton loose in car 10. But he slams the door shut halfway through the fast car qualifier. Throckmorton starts to bobble. Bates right on his bumper, and Kelly Sr. rounds out the field. A little cat and mouse game going on at the front of the pack. Throckmorton low, Bates high. 4 down, 2 laps remaining. And And a little bit of contact as well as they head down the back straightaway. The white flag will be coming out this time around for the fast car qualifier with 1 more lap to go. Has Bates been saving something right on the bumper of Throckmorton? Nose to tail, they head into turn 3 for the final time. Side by side. Fast car heat race for the modifieds to the finish line. And Throckmorton won.
This will be our first 25-lap feature for the cars and the stars of the Pacific Coast region. Steve Schaub will be leading about now in car number 51. Here comes Tim Swearengin in car 14. Jamie McMurray in the 2X machine. Rapid Roy Chisholm in 57. Brian Daniel in 52. Paul Wallen in 13. James Kelly Jr. in car number 30. Archie Griffin, the runner-up with the point standings in car number 11. Walnut Grove, Missouri, Jerry Kelly in 04. Steve Holt back with us in car 35. The man that was thrown in the rear, Larry Phillips in car number 75. And the Richland boy, Bob Webster, in car number 25. And Bob's beautiful Oldsmobile, Bill Roberts, down here in Bolivar for many, many years. And by virtue of winning last Friday night's feature, Larry Phillips will be starting back there in that number 75 car toward the rear. And Bob, a little bit of what you call the penalty box, but a lot of the drivers seem to like starting toward the rear in that middle of the season. Here we go. We're getting ready to send our Bill Roberts pace car back into the pit area. And keep your eyes on Steve Shive in car number 51. You got Jamie McMurray in that number 2 machine. Then you got Swearengin.
And of course, tonight's race crucial, Ronnie, as far as track point standings are concerned, but also points in the Pacific Coast region. 3-time national champion is again the Pacific Coast regional points leader. And he cannot advance any further, Ronnie. Of course, he's got essentially what amounts to a perfect score in the region, but a big race for folks like Archie Griffin and also for Paul Wallen and Brian Daniel.
That's right, 4, 7, and 9. Remember, the top 10 guaranteed at least $1,000 and a trip to Nashville, Tennessee. As we're going to send the pace car on into the pit area. This will be a 25-lapper, 25 times around for the Pacific Coast Regional Cars and Stars. Bob, the Gateway Connection man, Steve Shive back with us in that number 51 car. And you can bet the veteran out of St. Peter's is going to be hard to...
Steve Shive, Ronnie, won a track championship at the I-44 Speedway just a couple of years back. Looked very strong during the heat race, and looks like Keith Foreman's going to give him a chance to scuff in those Hoosier racing slicks.
Put a little bit of heat inside his tires. The track is what we call very tight. No rubber on it. In the corners, it'll be loose. There's no nice margin for error right now, and we're going to let them build a little heat in those tires. start toward the rear as everybody will now jockey back and forth, getting up into the respective starting grid spot. And Shive has been shut. It's been about 3 years since a member of the Gateway Connection has won here at the Friday Night Action Track. He knows Victory Lane up in the St. Louis area, the Ozark NASCAR Winston Racing Series. Steve said one of the toughest circuits. He said, I wanted to get back to the roots, so I'm back in the Ozark. Remember, this is a 25-lap feature. Shive and McMurray, who knows the fast way around this 3/8-mile oval in the Grand American Modified. Let's see what he does in his own 2X car. Swearingen and Roy Chisholm. Roy trying to climb back up in the region as, quite a little bumper tagger, and Phillips is off with a flat tire. While they're playing bumper tag back there in the middle of the pack, Larry Phillips hits that Sportsman pickup covers number 75 car back down between turns 3 and 4. It looks like he's going to be put in on the end of the hook.
And of course, Ronnie, the rule is that once you hit the track for a parade lap, getting ready for a feature, you cannot switch vehicles.
That's right. That is what he calls the qualified car. And he already made it onto the action track here at Speedway USA. Getting set to go now. We'll get the track cleared. We're going to be looking for once we get the track cleared, it looks like a little front end damage as Larry was getting geared set to go. The guys in the back on that inside lane anticipating the jump. The outside lane looked like they had a fast start, and of course, Shive, the pace setter, he's the man that's going to dictate the pace for the race, being that pole position setter. And Bob, it was another win for Hoosier in the Winston Cup rank as Jeff Bodine sits on the pole for the Michigan race.
It's going to be intriguing to see what happens Sunday, Ronnie, running in Michigan. As you mentioned, a track owned by Roger Penske. You had gone out on the limb and made your prediction that the driver of the Miller Genuine Draft Car would be in the winner's circle following the race on Sunday. Tell you what, intriguing story developing, though, is that John Andretti will be sitting outside of row 1 on Sunday. I don't know about you, but that surprises me.
Not really. John Andretti's a very talented driver. Wally Dallenbach and Richard Petty split company after the race at Watkins Glen last Sunday. So now Dallenbach looking for a ride on the Winston Cup or in NCCA racing. As you can see, the severe front end damage done to Phillips' number 75. Remember, if he can win the track point title here at Speedway USA, that's another $1,000 bonus in the point standing. He currently has 21 wins. He can't get any more points. But very important is one thing, and you can see a lot of damage done to Larry's car up there on that right front end. Looks like maybe a broken tie rod.
Can we please have everyone return to their seats, please? Need to keep everyone away from the fence, please. Parents, we ask for your cooperation. Please keep the youngsters away from the fence. Thank you.
And Jerry Kelly, you can see the fiberglass body on that 04 car on a Walnut Grove. Kind of a new aerodynamic look. Want to remind everybody, ladies' night tomorrow night over at the I-44 Speedway. The late model stock will be on hand for extra laps for extra cash. We'll open the gates at 5:30. All 5 classes will be set to go. That's tomorrow night at the I-44 Speedway up in Lebanon, Missouri. And he's going to let them once again. Got the solid yellow out, and the driver is... Well, I see our problem, Bob. Full moon is hid above the clouds up there off of turn number 2. So, as the old saying, when you got a full moon out on a race night, anything can happen. It seems to send off certain rays to the drivers, and we've already seen a wild night here in the first half of the program, and the bomb squad qualifiers will be coming out here next.
They're in the staging area, Ronnie, getting ready to hit the track next.
Jerry Kelly being sent in. As you can see, that fiberglass body hanging up there. It's also close to the tire over here on the left side. He's got maybe that much clearance, if that. The minute we start racing and they get it over 100 miles an hour, you'll probably see that fiberglass body go shifting off. So the crew out of Walnut Grove, the U.S. Automotive team, are going to be ready to start ripping and pulling. And Bob, I'd say they got their gloves on right now. And once again, as they'll get up. Had 14 to 15 late models checked in. Buds is out right now, as is John O'Neill. Kelly's in the pit area. Phillips, your track point leader, also in the pit area. Here they come. The green is out. We're back to racing action. And John takes the only command. McMurray is on the charge, and here comes Roy. Just rapid Roy now, moving around Sargent. And Kelly makes it back out now in 0-4. Trying to stay on that lead lap. Meanwhile, the 18-year-old challenging the veteran member of the Gateway Connection. Wheel to wheel, they go into turn number 2. It's Shive on the outside, McMurray on the inside. Wheel to wheel, they go to turn 3. Coming off a 4 now. Down the front straightaway. It's Shive now. Roy goes to the high group. McMurray now dives to the inside. Wheel to wheel, they go by the wild side. With Shive hanging on. And here comes Brian Daniel. Brian Daniel now slides around Roy Chisholm. They pull that number 22 to go. Griffin looks to the low side of James Kelly Jr., but it's all Steve Shive. And here comes Brian Daniel, the rookie late model driver, trying to get a trip to Nashville, Tennessee. Daniel to the low side. McMurray to shut the door, but it's Shive to set the pace. Chisholm and Kelly Jr. and Steve Holder Webster are now on the move. Coming off of turn number 4. It's still driving the lane. On the inside. So race for that number 2 spot as they go nose to tail, rocking in by the wild side. And Shive now tries to open up that lane. Watch him brake train it. The track very tight. No margin for error tonight. Brian Daniel now powering that Howard Dottle Salvage number 52 Lebanon up to the runner-up spot. And now James Kelly Jr. is on the move also. Rapid Roy Chisholm, Kelly Jr., Griffin and McMurray. Side on him, brother. Here comes Daniel looking for his second late model win at Speedway USA. And Jerry Kelly continuing to try to stay on that lead lap. Meanwhile, now Daniel looks to the inside. Number 2, Shive's got the high line, Daniel the low line, door handle, they go into that third turn. Brian Daniel, Steve Shive, Daniel gets it sideways, and Shive takes the outside. Kelly Jr. is now on the move in corner number 30. Daniel now looks high, he now tucks into that inside lane. It's Shive and Daniel, nose to tail. Shive shows Daniel that inside groove, coming off a 4 once again. Archie Griffin now working on the inside of Rapid Roy, the battle for the number 5 spot. As we say, green and clean. Daniel once again inside. Shive just the AD McCowan low with a trucking car is on the move. Kelly Jr. looking for that first late model win ever. Meanwhile, Daniel breaks high. He now comes low. Wheel to wheel, they rock it down the road. Saving the tires. Griffin, Chisholm, and Webster continue their fight. It's Shive, Daniel, McMurray, and Kelly Jr., your top 4 runners. Chisholm and Webster. Halfway home. 13 down, 12 to go. Shive, the veteran out of St. Peter's, Missouri, holds that high groove. Daniel once again coming out of turn number 4. Lifts inside. It's Shive.
halfway through the first feature of the evening for the Grand American Late Models. The chauffeur out of St. Peter's in the Budweiser car 51. Leading the way is Steve Shive, making another appearance in the Ozarks. The lead over rookie driver Brian Daniel. Down, 16 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. The Bomb Squad heat races come your way next. Then it'll be the Superstock A feature. You got a lot of experience leading the first feature in the St. Peter chauffeur and Steve Shive, and right behind him, a pair of rookie late model drivers, Brian Daniel and Jamie McMurray. Tomorrow evening, late model stocks are going to be running extra laps for added cash at the I-44 Speedway. And next week, the Bomb Squad and the Super Stocks here at Speedway USA. As the Richland Bullet, Bob Webster gets her fired up in car 25. Just need to make that one change in the field, and we should have ourselves a pretty good lineup. So it's Shy, Daniel, McMurray, Kelly, and Griffin.
A little over halfway, Bob. 14 down, 11 to go. And I told you the track is very unforgiving tonight. You can see it very, very on the tight side. The drivers, no margin for error in the chassis setup. Lights now go off. Steve Shive looking for that first win here at Speedway USA in the 1994 NASCAR season. Brian Daniel right there with him. Daniel ranks ninth in the region. Will he maybe be able to survive another week in the top 10? McMurray, Kelly Jr., and Griffin round out your top 5. Here they come. Shive to get a good jump. The green is out. We're back to race in action. Right on that pole going into turn number 1. And now here comes the battle for second and third. It's Daniel McMurray. James Kelly Jr. is also on the charge. Watch him down the straight. Shive will. Daniel has got the better Hemling car in the corner. Daniel to the big corner seat. Shive takes it down by the wild side.
once again, because of the threat of the rain, we'll skip the trophy presentation this evening as Daniel will fire that 52 machine out as we get Jim Sneed leads him out in 81, the 36 machine. Chauffeured this evening by Doug Price. Rick Slide in cars 76. The 60 machine back with us and running once again of Johnny Ray. Dennis Sisson in 88. Bates in 91. Ron Palandra in car number 71. The 07 car of Mark Henderson as the field heads off of turn 4, and Keith Foreman's not going to waste any time at all this evening. As Stacy Hall also makes it out in car 14. First of 2 qualifiers for the bomb squad. 6 times around. It's Sneed and Price, Slight and Ray, Sisson and Bates, Hall, Palandra, and the 07 of Henderson. And Keith Foreman says to the bomb squad this time around, let's go racing. And they'll take her side by side into turn 1. Whoa, Sneed loops on 81 on the low side, but maintains the lead as Price jogs high, and Slight also starts to loop that 76. As the field heads off of turn 4 and down the front, oh boy, talk about some debris. And the caution will come on as Sneed takes the lead on lap 1 as Price took a wild ride in between. Uh-oh, that, folks, is not where you want to be tonight. Doug Price sitting smack dab right in the middle of the mud. He's going to climb out of that machine. Hopefully got the high racing boots on. Dennis Sitton will take the high line and head back to the pits in car 88. This will be an original restart as no laps are officially complete on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. See what kind of traction that wrecker has, because it is just plain muddy down in the infield. Well, they're going to try and get Doug Price's 36 car hooked back up at the rear of that wrecker. Sitton comes back in the 88 machine. And also to the high side, Mark Henderson in that 07 car. Well, it's an opportunity as they pull Price's 36 out of the mud to head back to the concession stand, grab yourself an ice-cold Ozark Coca-Cola, maybe a mid-evening snack as well. Fast car qualifier for the bomb squad is in the staging area. They'll hit the track next, then the Super Stock A feature.
Quick reminder, Bob, that intermission not going to be very long at all. Street Stock A feature, guys. The lineup should have been posted by now. Please get ready to roll into the staging area. Let's keep the show moving this evening once again. And Bob, during these jumpers and all the restarts, that's a good time for him as the lights now go on.
Price's cars moved a little closer to the middle of the infield. Keith Foreman will put that powerful right arm in the air. First of 6 laps for the bomb squad. What do you say, Mr. Foreman? This time around, let's go racing. Sneed and Ray will duel for the lead, and Sneed will take it in that 81 machine, headed down the backstretch. Bates on the charge, though, in 91. As James Bates now looks to the high side of Ray. He's up to the number 3 spot, but down the front stretch in car 81. Jim Sneed takes the lead. And Rick Slight, who won a heat race earlier this year, also on the charge, taking that high line at 76. 5 laps remaining on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard as Sneed will head it off of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. 2 laps down, 4 laps remaining in the first qualifier for the bomb squad. Here at Racing Streets, running extra laps next week as Bates makes a challenge for second. Slight will loop it, and Palandra as well going into turn 2. but they both have it fired up, smoking the tires, and headed away. We'll have 3 laps down. It's Sneed in the top spot. Ray, Bates, and the 14 car of Stacy Hall, your top 4. Ray to the low side. Bates will challenge high for second. Bates now up to the number 2 spot. But it's the 81 of Sneed. This time around with 4 down. 2 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Bates in the number 2 spot. Ray and Hall challenging now for 3rd on the inside. But Keith Foreman will have the white flag out this time around for Jim Steen and the Bomb Squad's first heat. They've only got 1 more lap to go. Sneed in 81 dials the first corner for the final time. Bates trying to close the gap, but it's down the backstretch for car 81 and the driver Jim Sneed. The final 2 corners in the first heat race for the Bomb Squad. The checkered flag will fly this time around for Jim Sneed. Bates comes home 2nd. Hall in the number 3 spot. Ray comes home 4th. Well, a Superstock A feature to the staging area immediately, please. Superstock A feature to the staging area immediately, please. Tony Barton heads on car 34. That's Don Scroggins in 03. Darren Red at 89. Bolivar's Jerry Ballinger in car 40. Cleo Jasper in 93. Bill Pillmore, the Snap-on Tools, car 53. John Reppert in 99. Gary Klossner in the big Ford-powered car 15. The 51 machine of Charlie Dinwiddie. Rocky Rash back with us in car 77, and there he is, last year's track champion and the current points leader. Call him High Groove in car 97, Jeff Richardson. And Richardson only scuffing tires in the fast car qualifier. Barton and Scroggins, Red and Ballinger, Pillmore and Jasper, Klossner, Reppert, Dinwiddie, Rash and Richardson, Keith Foreman. Fast car heat race for the Bomb Squad. What do you say? This time around, 1st to 6th. Let's go racing. Barton and Scroggins will duel going into turn 1, but it's Red on the inside, Ballinger on the high side, battling it out for 3rd. And boy, it is getting nose to tail into turn 3. Barton, Scroggins, Red, Ballinger, Pillmore, Reppert, and Klossner. First of 6 laps is in the books on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard as they look 3 wide in turn 1. Pillmore, Red, and Ballinger, who now slides up to 3rd. And some contact with Red and Pillmore going into turn 3. But off of turn 4, it's Tony Barton, followed by Scroggins. 2 laps down, 4 laps remaining. Superstock A feature in the staging area as Barton hits the backstretch. Ballinger on the move in car 40 as Reppert loops 99, allowing Klossner to slide by. It's Barton high, Scroggins on the inside. Ballinger moving forward in 40. Halfway through the fast car qualifier for the Bomb Squad. It's Bolivar's Jerry Ballinger on the charge by Scroggins and up to the number 2 spot. Now trying to haul in Tony Barton in car 34, your race leader. We'll have 4 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. The battle at the front of the pack, and the new player in 3rd is Gary Klossner. Ballinger trying to haul in Barton. Ballinger on the high side. Barton slams the door shut. The white flag is coming out. It's a 5-car, 1-lap dash with 1 more lap to go. Barton, Klossner, Ballinger, Pillmore, and Scroggins, 3 wide. And Klossner in the big Ford to the inside of Barton. Some contact down the backstretch. Pillmore moving by Ballinger, trying to get up to 3rd. But the checkered flag will fly for the Ford of number 15, Gary Klossner. Pillmore 2nd, Ballinger comes home 3rd.
Bill Roberts, Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile pace car. Here comes the Super Stockers. Tim McCowan will lead them out now in car number 12. Andy Jenkins in 59. Teddy Thomas makes it out now in 75. Jim Cates in 91. Herb Spiggert in 28. Steve Bias in 79. Robbie Johnson in 00. Tom Klaus in 42. Brian Brown in 2. Sergeant Charlie Johnson in car number 1. Glenn Lucas in that number 26 car. Larry Smith in 55. Tim Stark in 52. Jody Whitener in car 18. Danny Meyer out of Buffalo back with us in car 21. Jeff Smith of Springfield in 33. Wayne Johnson in the single donut car. And starting dead last, he is your point leader. And Bob, he's got a long ways to go in car number 14, Wayne Lewis. That beautiful Bill Roberts Faith Oldsmobile back into the pit area. This will be a 20-lap feature. 20 times around this 3/8-mile asphalt oval as the Super Stockers, 3,400 pounds of man and machinery, getting strapped in and set to go. And Teddy Thomas will be setting the pace for the race. Andy Jenkins to his outside. McCowan and Stark in row number 2. The third row will be Herb Spiggert and Bolivar's Jim Cates. Row 4, he won the Fast Dash Heat race earlier from down in Miller, Missouri. Robbie Johnson and Steve Bias on his outside. The fifth row, Brian Brown and Tom Klaus. Row number 6 is Sergeant Charlie Johnson, Jody Whitener, Glenn Lucas, Larry Smith, Danny Meyer, Jeff Smith, Lewis, and Wayne Johnson. The lights go off. Here they come. Mr. Foreman looks them over and we're gonna go racing. And quickly, Tim McCowan looking for feature number 2. Splits the post as they start to move up through the pack. McCowan now overtakes the lead. Now Robbie Johnson is also on 2. Coming down for that important first lap. 3 wide, Brown along with Cates and Bias, but it's Tim McCowan to set the pace. Tim Stark and Teddy Thomas now fighting it out for second and third. Johnson and Jenkins now going wheel to wheel down the backstretch. 4 wide. Now Stark and Johnson back out of the front. But it's all Buffalo, Missouri, Tim McCowan. Jenkins holds on to second. And watch that battle in the middle of the pack. Your point leader, Wayne Lewis, now still trying to work his way through traffic. Meanwhile, Herbert, after an early strong run, starts to fade just a little bit. Coming down the front straightaway. McCowan still sets the pace. Jenkins now running second. Johnson is third. And Tom Klaus is on the move. Tom Klaus all the way from St. James, Missouri. Next to the track point standing, trying to capture the Ozarks overall Superstar Championship. But it's now Tim McCowan all by himself out in front. Holding on to second place in that Buick is Andy Jenkins, and Robbie Johnson is now on the charge. Klaus starting to close up for third place, while meanwhile, Lewis and Sergeant Charlie biding their time back in the middle. Wayne Johnson is out of the action. The battle now for that number 2 spot will find Jenkins and Robbie Johnson going wheel to wheel with 5 down, 15 to go. Now Lewis and Sergeant Charlie starting to quicken their pace up a little bit. But Tim McCowan right now heading a blistering pace. Jenkins and Johnson, Klaus all in a different tough battle, holding on for the number 2 spot. Now Lewis, he goes to the inside of Tim Stark. The battle between the current point leader and last year's point champion. And now Klaus looks to the inside of Robbie Johnson. McCowan all gone. And Klaus and Johnson continue the battle. Now Sergeant Charlie and Wayne Lewis hooking it up, racing wheel to wheel as they try to crack into the top 5. Jim Cates taking a wild ride on the infield, slides it down to the low side and does a great job, and that'll bring out the yellow flag.
That's been wind didn't hurt a whole lot until that last bump. That must have felt like being on a roller coaster and having that thing jump a track and end up making contact with a rock. His case really flew in the air on that last bump after doing the water slide thing down the backstretch. But now Kim McCowan, who has started to extend that lead in car number 12, will be looking in his rear view mirror. He'll see Andy Jenkins in the number 2 position, Robbie Johnson up to the number 3 spot, with Tom Klaus and Chargin' Charlie rounding out your top 5. Looks like Brian Brown will take car 2 to the high side and also head back to the pit. Thunder and Lightning of the Modifieds will hit the track next, and late model feature number 2, and saving the best for last with the Bomb Squad. Fans, he did the agriculture racing thing. He's going to try and get that machine fired up after going through the waterfall down the backstretch. What do you say for the chauffeur of car 91, Jim Case? Of course, back in the concession stand, we got lots of great merchandise for you. Got the hot dogs, the hamburgers, the nachos. Got the popcorn, might have a little cotton candy. Got the corn dogs. Got Keith's very own Chauncey's ice cream. And a brand new delicacy here at the Friday night action track, French fries with the nacho cheese. So it's McCowan, Jenkins, Johnson, and Tom Klaus. Wayne Lewis, Ronnie, has been running real well lately. But right now, Kim McCowan did not want to see that caution come out.
Oh, that's the last thing that Kim McCowan wanted to see was that caution flag. He was hoping it would go clean and green the whole time because he knew that Wayne Lewis and Chargin' Charlie are going to be working their way up along with Tom Klaus. But I tell you what, Bob, watching back in the middle of the pack, Robbie Johnson definitely kind of needed that yellow. Him and Andy Jenkins were running hard for the runner-up spot. Robbie had to back off to cool the tires up a little bit because the car was getting what you called it a little bit more loose in the corner. Jenkins had the preferred high line. Robbie was trying to make that low groove stick. This caution will help the double donut car. It's going to hurt Kim McCowan, or will it? Kim's got a lot of horsepower under that number 12 car, and we'll see. Well, the lights won't be going off. And well, Bob, I tell you what, Jim Case has really been running strong here the last 3 to 4 weeks at Speedway USA, and you can see the damage done to that number 91 car as he comes down the front stretch. Fans, you give it to him a while ago. He can hear you now. Let's put your hands together for Jim Case, the driver of car number 91.
You know what, Ronnie was saying? I'm going to embarrass a couple of people right here, and I bet they know who they are. It's tough to keep racers away from a racetrack any time at all, Ronnie. They got a heck of a points battle going on at the I-44 Speedway. But J.C., Ben Newell, the whole Newell family on hand with us this evening just cannot keep a racer away from a track even when their class isn't running.
Everybody enjoys Speedway USA, Bob, as the lights now go off. General Giant and Young Ben, both hard chargers, they'll be in action here next Friday night at the late model stock. We'll be back on hand as it's their weekend to run. Next week, it's going to be extra money for the Super Stocks and the Bomb Squad. Gates open at 6. Action will start at 8. Lights are off as we look at the Ozarks Coca-Cola scoreboard. 8 down, 12 to go. McCowan's going to quickly set the pace, hoping he can stretch that lead once again. And Mr. Foreman says, let's go, racers. And quickly, after those tires cooling off, Robbie Johnson and Tom Klaus take their car to the inside of Jenkins. Wayne Lewis goes with him in tow. Rocking it down by the wild side. It's McCowan down in front, and here comes Klaus to the inside. The battle between two hard chargers in only their second year of Superstock racing. Brian Brown will come out now one lap down in car number 2. Now Lewis dives to the inside. They're 3 wide by the wild side into turn number 3. While McCowan once again stretches out that lead. It's Johnson, Klaus, and Lewis battling it out for second place. We're halfway home. 10 laps down, 10 laps remaining, and watch the race for the number 2 spot. It's Johnson, Klaus, and Lewis in the Flying Angels formation. While McCowan once again stretches out that lead as they come down the front straightaway. Andy Jenkins with a strong run as him and Charlie Johnson continue to battle it out for 5th place. Lewis now making a run on the inside of Klaus. While he does that, Johnson tries to make his run on the outside. Klaus, the beat of an orange sandwich. McCowan by 10 car lengths. 12 down, 8 to go. Robbie once again. Who's going to make the first mistake? Lewis continues to put it hammer down. Klaus caught in the meat of the sandwich. Robbie's on that high side. And they've gone 3 to 4 laps, wheel to wheel like this. It's Johnson, Klaus, and Lewis. None of these young Chargers lifting a bit. While Tim McCowan continues to drive away for his second win of the season. McCowan, while this 3-car battle continues to go on, as Johnson and Klaus, Lewis bobbles just a little bit, and now drops back 1 car lane. White Lewis back off just a second. Klaus into Johnson now. Continue their battle. Meanwhile, Jenkins and Sergeant Charlie go at it for that number 5 spot. Coming off turn number 4. McCowan once again heads up the pack. But now Johnson, Klaus, and here comes Lewis. Starting 20th in the night starting grid. Your track point leader, Wayne Lewis, and Tom Klaus continue to go at it, while McCowan will now encounter lap traffic. Lewis, Klaus, Johnson, once again. Robbie gets it a little bit high, and now down Klaus by a nose in second. Lewis once again dives to the inside. Robbie hangs on that outside. Klaus right in the middle on a beautiful job of driving by all 3. Meanwhile, McCowan will split the post between Larry Smith and Ted Thomas as we now have 17 down. Lewis now goes to second. Klaus is third by a bumper. Robbie goes to fourth. And Wayne Lewis now clearly goes into the number 2 spot. Coming off turn number 4. Watch the lap traffic play up this battle for second place. But it's Tim McCowan as he holds on strong. Lewis holds on to second. Klaus now third. Robbie fourth. Sergeant Charlie fifth. The white flag will be coming out this time around for Buffalo, Missouri. Tim McCowan with only 1 more lap to go. Lewis all by himself in second. Klaus is now third. Robbie fourth. Johnson fifth. Jenkins running in sixth. Bias seventh. Lucas eighth. Northside Fire running 10th. But looking for that second win of the season. He's on the turn number 4. The checker flag out for Tim McCowan. Lewis stops on second. Klaus third. Johnson and Johnson 4 and 5. McCowan. While we do that, fans, there are 3 drivers that went 5 laps wheel to wheel the entire time after that caution, and I think they deserve a big round of applause. Robbie Johnson, Tom Klaus, and Wayne Lewis. What race in action! As Tim waves to his family, now he can hear you, grandstands. What do you say? Tim McCowan in victory lane here this evening.
Oh, Bill Roberts pace car, open wheel racing at his best. Here come the Grand American Modified. Mark Underwood will sit inside row 1 in car 15. The Athletic Corner sponsored car 73, Russell Graves. Out of Walnut Grove in car 44, James Kelly Sr. Already owning 1 feature win this year. It came in the I-44 Speedway. He comes to us from St. Louis in car 10, Vinny Throckmorton. The track points leader and a rookie modified driver in car 91, David Bates. He's been running strong all year long, currently second in the track point standings in car 22, John Corliss. In car number 1, back with us again, Mike Burris. And he is starting shotgun. Out of Buffalo, he won his last time out here at Speedway USA. In car 5, welcome Brian Kapika. And the Bill Roberts pace car will head off the track. We'll let the modifieds heat up those Hoosier Racing slicks. The Grand American late models hit the track next in their second feature of the evening, and it should be an intriguing one. Maybe a little bit of shuffling going on down the pits. As Keith Foreman will bring the modifieds around, they'll scuff in those Hoosier Racing slicks for their 15-lap main event. Light will come back on. Getting ready for 15 laps of open wheel thunder and lightning with the late models in the staging area getting ready to hit the track next. Keith Foreman will turn the lights off this time around the Friday night action track, putting that powerful right arm in the air. Side by side, nose to tail. It's Underwood and Graves, Kelly Sr. and Throckmorton, Corliss and Bates, Kapika and Burris. 8 cars, 15 times around as they make their way down the backstretch. Underwood to set the pace, and Keith Foreman and the open wheel mighty modified. What do you say this time around? Let's go racing! And Throckmorton dials the inside up to the number 3 spot as they hit turn 2. But it's Mark Underwood at 15, holding off Graves and Throckmorton again to the inside in car 10 as they roar off turn 4 and down the front stretch. The last out, 14 remaining. Underwood looking for his first win of the year. David Bates, track points later at 91, slides by Graves and up to the number 3 spot. It's been better than a month and a half since the points leader has tasted victory circle. Throckmorton 2, Bates 3, followed by Graves and Kelly Sr. Throckmorton to the inside of Mark Underwood as they head off of turn 4 and go side by side into turn 1. Bates in the Catbird seat, now making it 3 wide. Headed down the back straightaway, Benny Throckmorton in 10, your new race leader. But track points leader, David Bates, right on his bumper. 4 laps down. That 3-car freight train hitting the backstretch in Bates, challenging Throckmorton for the lead. With Underwood now in the catbird seat. Graves and Kapika, your chauffeur from St. Louis. Throckmorton and Bates, only a car length separates the two. We'll have 10 down. 5 laps remaining on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Underwood and Graves, your top 5 as they go nose to tail into turn 3. Both third worst cars. Both heading down the front stretch in a battle for the lead. It's the RJ Shoes car of Throckmorton, your leader, but getting high and a bit loose down the backstretch as Bates tries to close that deficit. 12 will be down, only 3 laps remaining. Is Bates saving anything for the last couple of laps? They're nose to tail. Again, into turns 1 and 2. Throckmorton a bit loose in car 10, but Bates cannot close that gap any further. We'll have 13 down, only 2 laps remaining. The battle at the front of the pack, and John Corliss's car, 22, a lap car, coming into play as Burris heads to the pits in car 1. The battle for the lead, and the white flag is coming out. This time around, they're side by side with 4 laps to go. And with the lap car, Bates to the inside, to the high side is Throckmorton, they touch. Bates the points leader, agriculture racing. The checkered flag for the first time at Speedway USA. Flies for Vinny Throckmorton. Underwood comes home second, Graves third, Kelly Sr. and Brian Kapika round out your top 5. What do you think, Ronnie, after what happened at Lebanon? Do we need to get a word from Vinny Throckmorton? The story at Lebanon, fans, his first win on the asphalt on an oval. He's used to road racing where you don't stop for a winner's circle interview, so he did it. He's climbing out of that car. Fans, he's got to be a little bit excited. What do you say? Put your hands together nice and loud for Vinny Throckmorton.
And we always like to welcome the first-time winners down here real quick are the St. Louis area, Vinny Throckmorton, and whoo, got a little tough over there, didn't it?
Yes, sir, it did. I want to thank Bart Bates, Dennis, all the guys. They gave me a great car tonight. Anybody could have drove it fast.
Looked real, real good. A little bit different between Lebanon and Bolivar, isn't it?
Yeah, and this has a ratchet in it. I'm not used to it.
Let's talk about Vinny Throckmorton real quick as we're getting our late model lineup down there. Well, a little bit about your racing background. I know you run a little bit of dirt up in St. Louis, but you're also a road racer.
Well, actually, the only dirt I ever did was on a motorcycle. And just a little bit of road racing around the country. This is my second year. Glad to be here. Thanks all the fans for coming out. I want to say hi to my cousins and my aunt, my girlfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to head her down to the tech shed, tonight's modified feature winner, and he'll take that trophy from Miss Stephanie Payne, Vinny Throckmorton.
Boy, I tell you what, his second one, and Vinny, this is the best part of it.
Series, Tim Swearingen will lead him out in car number 14 out of Springfield, while Steve Shive will flank him on the outside in car number 51. Jerry Kelly makes it out now in 04. Rapid Roy Chisholm in car 57. Steve Holt out of Springfield back with us in 35. There was your first feature winner, Brian Daniel, moving up a little higher maybe in the region, looking for back-to-back wins tonight. Paul Wallen in car number 13. There comes the Richland boy, Bob Webster, in car number 25. And looks like Archie Griffin will be behind the wheel of the number 11 car here this evening. Jamie McMurray now makes it out in car number 2. And Bob, normally it's a 30-lapper, but tonight, being that it was twin features, it's going to be a 25-lap in round number 2.
25-lap dash. Brian Daniel won the first feature, which means the 52 machine starts shotgun.
Here comes James Kelly Jr. now out in car number 30. As they get up into their starting grid spots, Bill Roberts right here in Bolivar. Be glad to talk to you about that beautiful looking pace car. Open Saturdays until about 6. And here comes the Pacific Coast Regional leader, Larry Phillips, now in car number 75. And you can see a lot of fiberglass damage attention to that Sportsman pickup covers machine. And Bob, tomorrow night at Lebanon, we're going to talk about it real quick, the late model stocks for extra laps.
Ronnie, I pointed this out earlier tonight. There are certain races during the year you just plain look forward to. And when we got done with the late model stock features last Saturday night at the I-44 Speedway, you then realized that the following Saturday would be something very, very special. That's the case tomorrow evening with a dynamite points battle with Larry Roberts, the gentle giant J.C. Newell, also figuring in the mix is Carl Lawrence, and the racing Reverend Jack Daniel. Great points duel for the late model stocks at Lebanon. That continues tomorrow. 1 week from tonight, that battle continues here at the Friday night action track, as Jack Daniel has only a 6-point lead over Holden's Destry Huff in the late model stock point standings. And also figuring that is Marshfield's Mark Chance, talking about TJ Tony Jackson, and Camden's Ben Newell, technically still in the mix in the number 5 position. But right now, Ronnie, it's the Cars and Stars of the Pacific Coast region set for a 25-lap shootout. We already had one chauffeur out of the St. Louis area, and Vinny Throckmorton, who took home the modified feature. Will this be the night for the Gateway connection, as the Budweiser car, Steve Shive, out of St. Peter's, will start outside row 1. Looks like a couple of changes need to be made to the field, and we'll bring them to a stop down the front stretch. The Bomb Squad is in the staging area. They will hit the track next. Now watch this. This is a piece of work. We're going to see if Ronnie can do this in 1 pass. 4 wide, that's interesting. 4 wide. We're doing the Formula One thing today. We're going to start him from a standstill position. This could get very entertaining. We're going to see how quickly Ronnie can dodge the Pacific Coast region late models. Well, I'll tell you what, you put his time down, you might even have made the Goodwill games. And before long, it could be playing on the diamond because no one else will for the remainder of the year. If you got a stopwatch in the stands, you might want to pull it out. Getting everyone lined up in their proper positions. Of course, the late models in the big 30-lap feature tomorrow evening at the I-44 Speedway. Gates open at 5:30, racing competition starting at 7:30. Bring your favorite lady with you tomorrow. It's ladies' night. Ladies get in for half price in the grandstands and 3.5 off on the wild side, and making sure that everyone's in their proper position. Ronnie, you might want to take a deep breath. Grab yourself some of that ice-cold Ozark Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper, because that's one heck of a challenge, trying to get everyone lined up one time around, and it looks like we've got ourselves a pretty good lineup.
Here we go. Ken Swearingen will set the pace for the race with Steve Shive to his outside. Evidently, John O'Neill and Spud out for the night, not able to make the bail call. Bob racing tomorrow night at Lebanon with the gates opening at 5:30. And Spud will now make it. We're going to attack him onto the rear of the field, as we had already got ready to roll out the sorting grid for tonight's day feature. Bob, ladies' night tomorrow night up at Lebanon.
All 5 divisions will be running tomorrow evening as they'll stuff in the Hoosier Racing Slick.
getting set for this second 25-lap feature. Let me ask you fans something. He didn't get to run much. He won the Fast Dash Heat. Didn't get to run in the first one. Do you think Larry Phillips can come from the rear to win it tonight? How many of you think the car may not be right and that the Pacific Coast Regional leader is going to get beat? The lights go off for this 25-lap shootout. Tim Swearingen to lead them in nice and easy. Archie Griffin picked up some points in the track standings on Larry Phillips after that first feature. Here we go. Swearingen with Shine. Keep your eyes on Brian Daniels starting back there in the rear. He won that feature number one. He's trying for back-to-back wins. Swearingen leads them in nice and easy, and we're going to go right side. And Swearingen puts the only control of that Chevrolet Lebanon. Got everybody now doing a little brake checking. Wheel to wheel, they're rocking by the wild side. Here comes Shine, the Gateway Connection racer. And now the Richland Bullet. Bob Webster is on the move. Looking to redeem that first feature to a great run and give it a lead up late. It's Shive in control. Now Webster. Here comes Rapid Roy Chisholm. And Jerry Kelly is also on the move. Now getting a little more rubber laid down on it, but still very, very tight. As the Richland Bullet steps his eyes on Steve Shive. Shive in control. Webster now running a second. Swearingen hanging on the third. As you see Griffin, Kelly and Phillips going 3 wide out of turn number 2. Webster fakes high. He now dives to the inside. And a little brake check by Shive. And the Bullet got it down. Webster down low. Shive on that high line. And here comes Roy Chisholm. And Swearingen is up in the marbles. A great job by third-year late model driver Tim Swearingen. Control of that Don's Mobile Home machine. But Shive now to control. Here comes Webster, bouncing off that number 2 corner down low. And Shive shuts the door. Meanwhile, Phillips and Griffin up to the number 4 and 5 slot. The Rapid Roy Chisholm is on the move. 19 to go. Shive once again on that high roof. There goes Webster down by the back straightaway. Into turn number 3 now. Webster once again will drift to that high side. Meanwhile, Phillips and Chisholm now. Turn number 3 is Steve Shive, the Gateway Connection racer, has the yellow now coming out. And Steve Holt moving forward off that number 3 turn as we've got unofficially 7 laps down.
And a rough night, Ronnie, spinning during the first feature, now during the second. He's got the McCann printing car fired up. Boy, Steve Holt came very, very close to smacking the wall hard down the backstretch, but he got off the accelerator, straightened that thing out of time as the Laclede Auto Sales Bud Light Ford Thunderbird as Buzz Dickinson also takes the high line and heads back into the pits. And boy, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks of difficulties for the Lebanon chauffeur in car 21, but right now, Steve Shive in the Budweiser car 51 will have the Richland Bullet, Bob Webster, right on his bumper.
As you see, 7 down, 18 to go. Shive, who drove a great race in race number 1, finds Bob Webster glued to his bumper. Roy Chisholm with another strong run of that Arboca Racing Engines 57 car. And Phillips is the car 100%. This is the first time he's been in it. In fact, they just finished it when he pulled into the starting grid. Here they come, and he says, let's go racing! Going to the inside. Phillips up to the number 3 spot. The Pacific Coast Regional leader challenging now from that 3rd spot. He's trying to overtake outside. Shive runs that high groove. Webster off of turn number 2. Rocking it down by the wild side into turn 3. It's Shive. Does he run the in a torrid battle for the number 2 and 3 spot as Phillips still now. Personal battle for 4th and 5th. Coming down the front stretch. Phillips now stretching it to 5. Webster using that high move. And here comes Rabbit Roy Chisholm. Chisholm looks to the inside. Webster shuts the door as the sportsman pickup coverage crew have done their homework after the crowd. 17 now and 8 remaining. Archie Griffin trying to salvage a top 3 tonight. That's Phillips now stabilizing that lead. Shive, Webster, Chisholm, and Griffin continue their 4-car race for second place. Now these fours battling out. Here comes Missouri out of Joplin, Missouri. And young Jamie now up to the number 6 spot. And it's for his second time out of this Torrid Speedway USA. Down the front stretch. Phillips once again. Second place money as they keep Phillips in their mirror. Griffin trying to make some of them on Roy Chisholm. And Roy with one of his strongest runs this year as the yellow comes out once again as Swearingen and Kelly up high in turn number 3.
Oh, and Brian Daniel has to loop that 52 machine to avoid the incident as well as Tim Swearingen has got 14 fired up. Smoke from underneath the 04 machine of Jerry Kelly. A lot of fierce battles going on the track right now, Ronnie, and right at the head of the list, 3-time national champion trying to hold off the Budweiser car of Steve Shive and the Bullet, Bob Webster, currently running 3rd. But how about the battle for 4th and 5th with Rapid Roy Chisholm and Archie Griffin? 20 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. This has turned into a good old-fashioned 5-lap shootout.
Well, it looks like the sheet metal may be scraping against the right front Hoosier Racing slick as Jerry tries to fire up that 04 car. So it's Phillips 1, Shive 2, Webster in the number 3 spot, Roy Chisholm and Archie Griffin rounding out your top 5.
Advance as he heads back to the pit area. Had some good strong runs this year. Looks like the evening's going to be 5 laps short. What do you say you put your hands together for that number 04 out of Walnut Grove, Jerry Kelly. Now, Bob, I've noticed one thing on this restart. Larry's car has been what you call a little bit on the very loose side. As the tires get warmed up, the car starts drifting 100% better. Steve Shive and Bob Webster's cars on the restart have been picking and then getting loose as we go to longer green runs. So it's going to be interesting. It's a 5-lap shootout. Phillips as the crew did a great job of getting the car back together to make this second feature. Well, let's see. Will the car be a little bit loose on their restart? If so, this is a chance for Steve Shive and Webster to be able to make their run on him.
Ronnie, one thing we have said throughout the years is that the 3-time national champion is a master of the restart. Whether he's in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd on a restart, he finds a way to get to the front. But you know what? Great battle in the first 3 spots, but what a battle in the number 4 spot with Roy Chisholm and Archie Griffin. They've been dueling for about the last 7 or 8 laps or so. And that Ebenezer's and Ball Timbers cars have been able to hold off the hard charges of a man who's sitting top 5 in the region.
And Bob, you don't want to forget, Labor Day weekend, Johnson Service down in Lebanon, Missouri, will present the Orco Challenge Series. Look for all the regulars here Friday night and Saturday night. We will be running a regular NASCAR show on that Friday night. And Bob, as you know it and I know it, If there are definitely a race available to a racer, we might even see a couple of those cars and stars down here that weekend.
You know, Ronnie, the Indiana Outlaw, Bobby Brown, made an appearance on Friday, getting ready for the IMCA Show on Saturday. Actually, he showed up a week earlier, so it had a strong run with us here at the Friday night action track and at the I-44 Speedway. You get a racer near a racetrack with a night when they don't have anything scheduled, they're going to be at that track, and they're going to be running. So some of the IMCA stars and cars may be on hand with us. Well, Ronnie, when you see that quick drive being laid down like that, it's never a good sign for a motor.
No, that's right, Bob. A lot of steam was coming out of that U.S. Automotive machine. A tough race for Jerry Kelly. They worked very, very hard. They're very long. Speedway USA. James Kelly Jr.'s got a good run going this season. He's currently running in the number 7th position. But what a weekend of racing Labor Day weekend's going to be. It all starts here Friday night at Speedway USA at Bolivar with the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. The next night, it'll move to the IMCA Stars and Cars at the high banks of 11 I-44 Speedway. Remember, you're going to be off work. Most everybody will on that Monday. And then Sunday night, IMCA will go to Kansas City, Kansas at the Lakeside Speedway. It's going to be a great weekend of racing. Labor Day weekend. Bob, they better make their travel plans and get ready because we got 3 big nights of racing.
Nothing's better than the racing competition, though, in the Ozarks, Ronnie. Friday night here at Speedway USA, and tomorrow on ladies' night at the I-44 Speedway with all 5 divisions set to compete. We invite you early, fans. It's going to be a great night of racing. Gates open at 5:30. Races start at 7:30. Well, a hot lap's just about 6 o'clock or so. And turn loose all 5 divisions of the Winston Racing Series. Points battles are unbelievable this year at all 5 divisions. And right now, the Bill Roberts pace car leading them out. Fast car qualifier, paced by Jim Sneed in 81. Johnny Ray in car 60. Dennis Sitton in the 88. Part of the Cates Racing team, James Bates in car number 91. Ron Paladra in car 71. Stacy Holland, 14. Tony Barton, 34. Don Scroggins in 03. Jerry Ballinger, 40. Bill Gilmore in 53. It's John Reppert in 99. Gary Klopner in car 15. Darren Red in 89. The 36 of Doug Price. Rick Slight in 76. Charlie Dinwiddie in car 51. The 07 of Mark Henderson. Rocky Rash in 77. And Donnie Shotgun. The feature winner last week, call him High Groove, track points leader, Jeff Richardson. Times around for the bomb squad. Pit gates will open after after the bomb squad features, the Bill Roberts pace car will head back to the pit. Steve Foreman will turn the lights off this time around and put that powerful right arm in the air and say, ladies and gentlemen, side by side, nose to tail, Snead and Ray, Six and Bates, Palandra and Hall, Scroggins and Barton, Pillmore and Ballinger, Kloster and Repper, Red and Slight. As they head down the backstretch, Keith Foreman 15 times around to the grassroots of area racing. What do you say to the bomb squad this time around? Let's go racing! And here comes Bates out of nowhere as the bomb squad goes 4 wide. In turn 1, Kloster, Palandra, Hall, and Ballinger make it 4 deep. They go into turn 3. Snead the leader. They're going 3 deep again. And Snead crosses the start-finish line. Bates, followed by the 0-3 of Scroggins. They got the dreaded tires as Snead hits the backstretch. Bates and Scroggins, followed by Pillmore, Kloster, and Barton. They go 3 wide. A slight head to the pits in 76. Across the by Rocky. Rocky Road. Rocky Rash doing that wild ride in turn 4. And Bates challenging Snead on the high side. And headed off of turn 4. The red flag is being displayed this time around. Will bring the field to a stop temporarily anyway. 15 laps remaining. What do you think? Can we get it started this time around? Back off, Leo. He's running back to the pit. The lights are off. Snead, Bates, Scroggins, Kloster, Pillmore, Barton, Gray, Ballinger. And we're going to have to try this again. I think Mr. Snead got a pretty good jump that time in 81. Nose to tail, 13 laps remaining. Tomorrow night at the I-44 Speedway, get there early. Gates open at 5:30, racing at 7:30, ladies' night. Snead, Bates, Scroggins, Kloster, Pillmore. What do you say, Keith? 13 laps remaining to the bomb squad. This time around, let's go racing. Snead looking for his first win of the year. Bates likewise in that 91 machine. But Bates gets her high. Scroggins and Kloster slide by. Bates drops from 2nd to 4th, and now about to lose a spot to Pillmore. We'll have 3 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard this time around for Snead. Kloster challenging Scroggins for the number 2 spot. Pillmore all working to the high line. Snead, Kloster, Scroggins, and Pillmore. Bates is running 5th. Snead gets high. Kloster takes the lead on the inside. Looks like Bryce with some problems at 36 down the backstretch. 4 down, and Snead gets loose. Scroggins and Pillmore move by. Left traffic coming into play as Kloster looks to move by Bryce at 36, and the 0-7 of Mark Henderson. So that lap traffic playing a role as Kloster dials turn 3. The front stretch is Gary Kloster, the big Ford, opening up about a 10-car length advantage over Pillmore. 6 down, 9 laps remaining for the bomb squad. Pillmore and Scroggins trying to haul in your race leader. Racer. That's the second car he's had at the track this year, the first one total. That 15 machine has been running strong. For Chauffeur is moving forward in the track point standings. In fact, he is second to High Groove Richardson as Rocky Rash gets together with Henderson, but they're both fired up and underway. As the caution light comes on and Rocky Rash maybe headed just to the rear of the field. Henderson still down in the infield. And Rash does take the high line and go back to the pit. And it looks like the race not stopped for the incident, but because